Hey guys, Sean Bougie here. Because we do so much work with real estate, both pre auction, during the auction, and after the auction. In other words, flipping property, buying property as it goes into foreclosure, working with people in redemption periods during the actual foreclosure period, and also working with overages or surplus funds on the back end. Because we're so involved with that, and we know so much about all the different loopholes that exist, you would be surprised how many calls I get a week that say, "Hey, Sean, I don't want to pay my mortgage," or "I don't want to pay my taxes." How do I do that? How do I keep the house and not have to pay anybody? Well, I'm going to give you guys some of the things that are being said out there, some of the techniques that people are saying work, and tell you why it's not going to work, okay? And I'm doing this because a lot of you guys, I'm not taking a shot at you. And by the way, I know things happen. I know stuff happens, excuse me, that you can't even help. You know, you lost your job, you got into a car wreck. I get it. I so get it. Okay? I'm not making fun of you. I'm not doing anything derogatory about you. What I'm trying to do is get to where you see that these silly techniques that are being espoused online do not actually work. So let me go through them one by one. One of the things I see a lot of, particularly in Florida for some reason, is people will tell the court, "I'm going into bankruptcy." And then what they'll do is they'll actually start the bankruptcy filing, the procedure, and they'll never do it, but that resets that the court backs up and says, "Okay, we'll pull it off the docket for now." They'll do that on taxes, especially tax sales, and see what's going to happen. Well, they are going to check to see if you actually went through it, because what people teach is the technique they teach is go ahead, tell them you're going into bankruptcy, start the filing, and then just don't go through the bankruptcy, and you've bought time. You haven't bought a lot of time. They're going to recheck that in a month or two, and then if you do it again, they're going to actually work with the court and say, "Look," the bankruptcy court say, "Look, did they actually hire an attorney? Are they actually going through with the filing? Have they done anything besides the initial filing? Okay, we're going to foreclose on them over taxes. Period. Let us know if we need to stop." That's what they're going to do, because they're going to get tired of it. Okay, so the suggestion of bankruptcy technique, it just doesn't work. Okay, you're going to have to get out of there. The second one I want to is huge right now, and that's the forbearance issue. And a couple things people don't understand. First of all, the law actually applies to government-backed loans. Not all of them. Now, have the majority of the, oh Lord, the corporations, the banks, and so forth, have they gone ahead and mimicked the forbearance laws that the government-backed mortgages have to follow? Yes, they have. They're getting tired of that. They're a bank. Listen to me carefully. When somebody buys a house, you know this if you bought a house and you're trying to get out of paying for it. You signed two things. You signed a deed of trust or mortgage, also called a collateral deed, all kinds of things. Okay, deed of trust or a mortgage, and you also signed a promissory note. Okay, now the bottom line is what that mortgage and promissory note together make you do. It basically says you have to pay to stay. If you don't pay, you don't stay. It's a promissory note where the bank, as collateral, has your house. Okay? So that's a big deal. Now, forbearance, all that's really doing, now granted, it makes it so that it doesn't affect your credit if you have a government-backed loan. And a lot of the institutional banks are following suit with that, and they're not dinging your credit. Sounds like a pretty good deal. They're tacking those payments on in the back end. Right now, we've got over 2 million people in arrears still in the forbearance. At one time, we had, I think, 7. Last number I saw was 2 million people that are about, I think it's September, that are about to get their teeth kicked in because the banks don't have to wait any longer, including government-backed. Okay? Now, yes, is the government kicking the can down the road over and over again? They are, but can you count on that? No. And what's happening? Well, your payments are accruing. So it's getting tacked onto that loan. Okay? So forbearance is not an answer. Forbearance is you're putting it off. And in fact, I want to make a point right now. Property is going up so fast, has gone up so fast in the last couple of years, that you would have been or may even still be in such a better position if you sold the property, because you got to understand something. The forbearance, you're accruing all these payments that are adding up. So now you're not going to get that equity on the back end. You're digging a hole and you're putting yourself behind the eight ball right now. You are not going to be able to dig out of that. You're basically pissing away equity thinking, oh, I'm saving money. No, you're not. All you're doing is taking it off the value of the property. Because on the back end, it's taken out of the equity because you still have to come up with that money if you were to resell the property. A lot of you guys are going, I'm in a bad position. This makes sense to me because of this. I get it. If that's what you want to do, I get it. I get it. I understand where you are, but there's a lot of people out there that are playing games and thinking they can pull this loophole out of their tail and get it, okay? And just not have to pay and keep kicking the can down the road. That's not going to happen. You're not doing yourself a favor with that, okay? You're putting yourself in a worse position than you would have been. You need to figure this out is what you need to do. And you need to start catching up on your forbearance if possible, and you need to start getting back out of this. This was meant for people that were in real serious trouble, not for folks that are trying to play the system. As a result, the people that are trying to play the system are going to pay dearly when the system says they can't play them anymore. Okay? Last one. And this one's a doozy. And I see this a lot. And it's kind of all wrapped up together. That is sovereign citizen. Oh, I'm a sovereign citizen they made up a country. Okay. I'm a sovereign citizen. As a result, I don't fall under your rules. I'm my own citizen. I don't fall under the rules. So, and granted, you do that on the legal side, you can sometimes delay the foreclosure. And I've seen it delayed up to a year. I have. But here's the thing. While it's being delayed, the bank that had to represent themselves in this sovereign citizen filing, and by the way, I've never seen it really come through or even push back really in the tax side. They don't play. But the bank that had to hire the attorneys and all that, now when they foreclose, they can tack on those attorneys' fees. All of them. And by the way, you signed a promissory note, not just a mortgage. Do you understand me? What that means is you went into personal debt in addition to collateralizing the home. So they can actually sue you for any kind, it's called a default judgment. Look it up. They can sue you for the difference if there was more in what you owed and attorney fees and all that at the time of the foreclosure and they weren't able to recoup it from the foreclosure, they can sue you for the difference. You're not taking advantage of a loophole. You're screwing yourself with the sovereign citizen thing. The other thing I see with that's similar, that's Bella back there. The other thing I see with that's similar is people go, well, they have to have the original document. And if they don't, da-da-da. And there is some validity to banks that sold it to another bank and didn't record that recordation or that the assumption of the loan to the other bank and all that. There's some validity to that, but the bottom line is if that or any of the things I've previously mentioned, sovereign citizen, all that, if that actually was an out where you could get out of paying, the fabric of the economy would be destroyed. Do you think a judge is going to allow the fabric of the economy to be destroyed so you can get a free house? Well, if you answered yes to that or said, yeah, but my answer to you is, I'm trying to help you. You're being stupid as hell. You're not going to be able to stay there for free forever. You're just kicking the can down the road, okay? And you're screwing yourself on the possible deal of a default judgment. You're not helping anybody out. You're not smarter than anybody else. All you're doing is you're being a criminal. You're not paying your dues. I understand that things happen. I understand that some things are out of your control and you can't make it work. But playing these games isn't the answer. You have to pay your way. If you don't, you're going to lose the property. And then guess what? You're going to pay way more in rent for probably about half the property. You're going to go from a 2,500 square foot house to a 1,200 square foot house and pay more in rent for that than you would have paid in a mortgage in the house you're in now. Look, again, not trying to insult anybody, not trying to be a turkey with that. Just, I cannot get over the stupidity of the people. And I know there's a lot of people out there that really sell you on this stuff. But guys, you're not being smart, you're being stupid doing that. You got to work it out. You got to talk to the bank. You got to figure out where you're at. You're not going to get a house for free. Sovereign citizen doesn't work. Show me the document doesn't work. None of that works. And it's never going to work. And it doesn't matter where you are. They're not going to allow that to happen. I appreciate the time you took looking at this. By the way, you can look into our systems, which are legal ways to profit from real estate, at surplusfundsriches.net. Thanks for your time. Have a good day.